Wires, episode I3. We're going to talk about wiring up and wiring down. They are a little bit different. The easiest way generally to do any sort of wiring is a ladder. And a ladder it's like this. You can just go either straight up until you get to the height that you want it to be. And we'll put our block here. And then we just simply run our redstone all the way down this. Oh, I got two there. I did not realize that. Can't do that. You can only come down one at a time. So here we go. Redstone there. Put down our lever here. Now when I turn this on, you can see that I get power. Now one issue you may have with this is if you're going up more than 16, then we can keep that from by simply using our wire. We go down and put the switch down, connect this up. You see when I did that, that pulls that connection away from the lamp, but I can power it this way too. I'm already at 4. You can see the power there, and the wire is getting weaker and weaker as we move away. We'll come up to here. I'll put down my wire. And there we are at no power. So, as you can see, I can't power. If I wanted to go a little bit higher, you see all the way up to here. So we've reached the power, the limit. And let's say we want to power this device. Well, fortunately with the step ladder, actually what you can do with any of these is put a repeater in anywhere. And you see that this connection here doesn't go up. One of the problems with wiring up and getting this done is being able to repeat the signal, so you're kind of limited. Now, you can do a repeater like this. In this case, I have to have another block here. You bring the redstone up. You put it there. That will actually strongly power this block right there. So I can just wire up. Since that's a strongly powered block, or I could just run it up here if I had further to go. So whenever you want to repeat power going up in a ladder like this, you have to make sure you have 2. Because this wire has to be in the back of the repeater. But you don't have to have wire here. It's actually powering that block. And that block is strongly powered. As you see, I can run more redstone out of it, like this. If you look at the size of it, that's pretty far. The alternative way to do it that takes up less space is a redstone spiral. I'll say I'm going to put my power here, put my switch there and turn it on. And then we'll start our rise. So the way you want to do this is create a spiral. So there's my step up, there's my wire. And then you have to step up again. Wire. Now you're going to do it in this direction. Wire. And you can just keep doing this. Step up. Wire. Okay, and then once you have the form down, it becomes fairly easy. You can just keep building your spiral. And we just keep wiring. So we'll go make sure we're at the same height. Looks like that light over there, the lamp is 1 higher. So I'll put it here, and I'll say that my lamp sits there. And then I add my wire. So you have the same problem you always end up with is, if I want it in the lamp, I have to have a block away, or, as you can see, I can just put the wire right on top. So they're at the same height. You can see this takes a lot less space. The difficulty with this one, though, is just like this, when you get to the highest point and you lose power, as I keep rising up here, I would at some point run out of power. And so we'll get to that point to show what you can do. Do the wiring. Okay, here's where it's going to be. If I come up one higher, I'm going to do it over here. I'll keep the spiral going for now. You see I get 0 power. So the only way for me to reboost this is I have to have, you would think you could put a repeater on the next one, but let me show you what happens. I can put the next block there. But as you see, it doesn't work. So the problem with this is you end up having to go straight. Well, that is a strongly powered block here. The reason why I have to be straight here, if I put a block over here, only this one is strongly powered. This is a strongly powered block. I can put redstone on top of it, it will power it here. This one is not. Anytime you need power, you have to flatten your spiral out a little bit, and then of course I could reconnect it over here if I wanted, like this. This is where I would get back to my spiral and go higher up. Okay, now the advantage to a tower like this is it is actually bi-directional, at least up to the first repeater. So let me take this out. I'm going to put a light there, run wire to it, and I'm going to put a switch on the side of it. Then we come down here, and we'll put a light here. Turn that off. You see we lose power, the light goes out up here. If I turn this switch on, we get power all the way back down to the bottom and the light comes on. Same thing here. That switch is off, turn this off, turn this on, I get power. So it's bi-directional. The tower is one of the few ways you can do that. Okay, as you can see, this takes a decent amount of space. It's 2 wide, and of course you have to have a repeater at some point, it even gets wider. So there's one other way you can grab any sort of slab that you want. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to go with this. And then we'll say we're going to go up now this way. So there's my power. My first wire, my power source is here. And I want to start moving up. I have to put a regular block down here. And then this. And then we're going to go back and forth. So I'm going to put a block here. There. And get rid of this. Okay, let me do that a little bit. Block here. Slab here. It's got to be on the top. It has to be like this. It's actually an upside down slab. There. Upside down slab. Here. Actually, it goes always on top. And then we're going to go with another one here. And I'll just keep doing this a little bit. And we're just going to keep building all the way to the top. So we reach the same height that we reached before. Now this might seem a little bit slower, but a lot of times you might be doing this up the side of a structure, which I'll show you in just a second, why it actually would be much faster than you think. But either way, it's important to have this to know this trick. And this is just simply called the slab ladder. We're going to go here and then get rid of these. And put our redstone down on top of these. Now it looks broken, but there's no connection with these. But, as you will see, there actually is. So I have power all the way down through there. If I wanted to add more, it's easy enough to do. You can click here. Well, now that I have redstone, I have to click here. Put my slab there. And then redstone wire. Now, so my mechanism that I wanted to power was going to be up to the same level as that light. We'll just keep doing this. Okay, we've reached the level of the light. That one, that one. Add our redstone dust on top. There it is. And then, of course, I can add my light at any point here. If I put it here, you'll see the light will actually be below. Because it's actually at the top. Run my wire to it and I have my light. I could also do it this way. I can add a block. If that's where I want to light my light, it works that way too. This is a tower. Now there's a difference here though. Let's say I go and put my lever on the side of this. I'll go turn this lever off. And turn this one on. And you will see it only powers these two. This doesn't power downwards. It only powers in an upward direction. So slab, upward direction. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of building. I'll show you why that slab can actually be useful. And I'll be right back. Built a simple wall with a corner or a couple of lights. Those might be what I want to power. And now, the reason why it can be fast is instead of clicking and building like I did, I can simply click here, there, top. Make sure you click in the top, and I can build this very quickly. So you can see in this situation, it becomes very quick to build one of these towers. Now, I can just run my wire wherever I need. It may seem like those are pretty cumbersome when you're building them all by themselves, like this freestanding when they are. It takes a lot of extra work, but we have a wall or something extra building against it's very quick. One other up direction that you have is a tower. I'm going to build it right along this one just so we can do a comparison here. I'm going to run my wire in this case. I'm going to put the lever here for power. I'll go ahead and turn it on. And now, I put down a block and then a torch. You can see that torch goes off. In this case, I'm going to go with the green blocks. They would denote something, just so we can see the difference. White and a torch. Green, torch. White, and then finally another torch. Now you see what happens when it's on. Because of the inversion that we talked about last time, you have off, on, off, on, off. And of course, if I want to power my last device, I want it to be in an on state when the switch is on, and I have to do one more, like this. And maybe this is what I then want to power. There. Now if I come down here and turn this off, light goes off, light comes on. It's actually fairly easy to build. It seems pretty good. There we go. But I want you to show the speed difference here. There we go. Now you can see I've written down to a 5 here for power. So I'm going to end up somewhere dead in here. Now, this is one of the problems with doing one of these. As you can see, there's no easy way to put a repeater. I have to extend this block over, out, and maybe this way. So this direction here doesn't actually necessarily work good with repeaters. So I would have, if I want to do something like this, I would have to power it somewhere down in this area, right here. And now I'm back to having the power that I need. Okay, we can take this switch off. Make sure we're not confused about that. There's my lights. As you can see, follow the rule of connection here. And I can put the power right here. Doesn't really matter. So they're both off. Let me hit my switch. Switch. So one of the issues with having these towers, these torch towers, is each and every one of these adds a delay because this has to go off, on, off, on, off, on. They're very slow. So when you compare this, which is just simply a tower, that would be the same thing as this structure over here. It's a direct connect, or this slab tower, compared to the torch up and down, you have this. Very slow. You really do kind of want to avoid these if you're only coming up a certain amount. Let's say you were just coming up to this level. This is where your light was. It wouldn't be too bad. It's pretty instantaneous at that point. But you can see even now, if you look at this light versus this light when I turn this on and off, it's still slower. And there's a difference here. When you first receive power, like this, that is called the rising edge. And we'll be looking at this later, but for now we're saying when you receive power, you're on the rising edge, and when you take power away, you're on the falling edge. If you look at the rising edge of this, it's not that much different, but you can see the falling edge is different. So you have to keep that in mind in circuits when we get into actually building larger things, rising and falling edge. The torch tower is very slow. It also doesn't operate in a downward direction. The downward torch tower is a little bit more difficult to comprehend, but we'll get it. So in this case, we're going to build a downward torch tower. Of course, I'm going to say this is what I want to power. And I have to power it in a downward direction. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to put a block here. And then a block on top of that with a torch sitting on the side. And there I have light. So I've transmitted from that to here through this empty block. It's wireless transmission. You can see there is no block here. This block is not directly under the torch. It would not appear to be. You would think that would be at this level, but you can actually, that is considered actually at this level, so it's just like wiring like this. The next one to do this is where it becomes a little interesting. I put a dot on this block, and my next torch needs to be on top of that. So I had a block here, it burns out. Take this away, put my torch there. Alright, so you see once again I'm missing a block. This actually counts. I'll put a block there so you can see it. That's what it is. It looks like a gap, but it's not because you have your redstone there. I'm going to put a dot of redstone on top of this one, just like I did that one. And then once again, I want to hang a torch above that one. So, there we go. There it is. Torch there. And as you can see, I've got power all the way down here. So we just keep doing this. So, put a block on top of that. Another block. Put your torch. Put a dot of redstone. Dot of redstone. Torch. Let's go one more. Block here. A block here. Delete this. Put the torch here. Switch on top. Switches in the off position, I have no power down there. Switches on the on position, I get power down there. Off, both rising and falling edge, this is a very slow circuit. Now with both of these, you will notice that our power is 15, 15, 15. If I come over here, you don't actually see the redstone, but we can add some. And the last chunk here, 0, 15, 0, 15. So unlike these where you have to boost the signal at a certain height, these you don't have to. They stay powered the whole way, but they are very slow. I said this is a down-only circuit, so I'll put a switch here, I'll power it, and you can see it doesn't matter what happens at all. This is only a down signal. This is stopping it. So this is transmitting down, this is transmitting up. We know that this can't transmit down. So this is the only two ways to transmit down, anyway, that are useful, are this one, and then we can come over here, and either of these staircases transmit down. And that is it for I3.